The village was quiet and green, with small houses and narrow roads. People knew each other very well. Nothing new ever happened there. One morning, something unusual changed the calm life of the village. A woman arrived to live in an old house on the hill. The house was called Wildfell Hall. It looked dark and lonely. Many people believed it was empty for years. When the woman came, everyone started to talk. The woman's name was Helen Graham. She came with her young son and a few bags. She did not bring many servants. She looked serious and calm. Her face was gentle, but her eyes showed strength. She spoke politely to everyone, but she did not talk much. This made people more curious about her. Helen chose to live a simple life. She woke up early every day. She took care of her son with love and patience. She cooked food herself and kept the house clean. Sometimes, people saw her sitting near the window and painting. Painting made her feel peaceful. She liked nature, trees, and quiet places. Her son was small and active. Helen watched him closely. She taught him good behavior. She told him to speak the truth and be kind to others. She never spoiled him. She believed a child should grow with strong values. Many villagers noticed this and felt surprised. At that time, many parents were careless, but Helen was different. The villagers started to whisper about her. They asked questions like, why is she alone? Where is her husband? Why does she hide? No one knew the answers. Helen never spoke about her past. She smiled and stayed silent. This silence made people talk even more. Gilbert Markham was a young man in the village. He was curious but kind. When he first saw Helen, he felt interest and respect. He did not believe the gossip. He believed people should be judged by their actions, not rumors. One day, he decided to visit Wildfell Hall. When Gilbert met Helen, she greeted him politely. Their conversation was simple. They talked about the weather and the village. Helen did not ask many questions, but she listened carefully. Gilbert felt comfortable talking to her. He noticed she was intelligent and thoughtful. Gilbert visited again after a few days. This time, they talked about books and painting. Helen showed him her paintings. They were beautiful and full of emotion. Gilbert felt surprised by her talent. He praised her work honestly. Helen thanked him but did not show pride. She was humble. Slowly, Gilbert noticed that Helen trusted him a little more. She allowed him to talk to her son. She watched carefully but did not stop them. Her son liked Gilbert and laughed with him. This made Helen happy, but she still stayed careful. Some villagers became jealous. They did not like that Gilbert visited Helen often. They spread more stories about her character. They said she was rude and strange. Helen heard these things but did not reply. She believed silence was better than fighting. Helen spent most of her time at home. She worked hard and stayed strong. Sometimes, she felt lonely, but she did not show it. At night, she thought about her past and her future. Her heart carried pain, but she stayed brave for her son. Gilbert started to feel protective of Helen. He wanted to defend her against gossip. He admired her strength and honesty. He saw that she was a good mother and a good person. He knew there was more to her story. The village continued to talk, but Helen continued her life calmly. She walked with her son every day. She painted, taught, and prayed for peace. She did not come to Wildfell Hall to make friends. She came to find safety and a new beginning. This was the start of Helen Graham's new life. Her arrival changed the quiet village forever. Some people judged her, some feared her, and some respected her. But Helen stayed true to herself. She believed that truth and patience would protect her one day. Gilbert Markham began visiting Wildfell Hall more often. Each visit felt different from the last. At first, their talks were short and careful. Helen Graham always kept a gentle distance. She was polite, but her words were chosen with care. She did not laugh loudly or speak freely. Still, Gilbert felt drawn to her calm strength. As days passed, their conversations became longer. They talked about nature, art, and simple life. Helen spoke about the importance of honesty and self-respect. Her words were soft, but her thoughts were deep. Gilbert noticed that she believed strongly in right and wrong. She did not like lies or false kindness. Helen's son was always close to her. She watched him like a shield. She guided him patiently and corrected him gently. When the child made mistakes, she did not shout. She explained with love. Gilbert saw that her life centered around her son. Everything she did was for his safety and future. The village, however, was not kind. People continued to spread rumors. Some said Helen was proud. Others said she was hiding a shameful past. These words reached Gilbert's ears again and again. At first, he ignored them. Later, they made him angry. He knew Helen did not deserve such treatment. One afternoon, Gilbert heard a rumor that hurt him deeply. People said Helen had no right to live alone. They questioned her character. Gilbert could not stay silent anymore. He went to Wildfell Hall with a heavy heart. He wanted the truth, not gossip. When Gilbert arrived, Helen noticed his serious face. She invited him inside and offered him tea. They sat quietly for a moment. The room felt tense. Gilbert finally spoke. He told her about the rumors in the village. He said people were talking badly about her. His voice showed concern, not blame. Helen listened silently. Her face became pale. Her hands trembled slightly. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the wind touched the trees. She took a deep breath. Her silence was full of pain. After a long pause, Helen spoke slowly. She said she had suffered greatly in the past. She said her marriage was full of pain and fear. She had loved someone who did not respect her. He had destroyed peace and happiness. Her voice was calm, but her eyes filled with tears. Helen explained that she left to protect her child. She could not let her son grow in a place of cruelty and bad habits. She chose freedom over comfort. She chose safety over society's approval. She knew people would judge her, but she accepted it. Gilbert listened carefully. He felt shame for doubting her even for a moment. He realized how strong she was. Living alone, raising a child, and facing society's judgment required great courage. He respected her more than ever. Helen said she did not trust people easily. She had been hurt before. She learned that silence was her shield. She believed time would reveal the truth. She did not want sympathy. She only wanted peace. Gilbert felt a deep change in his heart. He told Helen that he believed her. He said he would not listen to gossip again. He promised to stand by her with honesty. His words were sincere, not dramatic. Helen looked at him with quiet gratitude. For the first time, Helen felt relief. Sharing her pain made her feel lighter. She did not feel alone anymore. Trust was difficult for her, but she allowed herself to open a small door. After that day, their friendship grew stronger. They spoke with more openness. Helen still kept many memories hidden, but she no longer felt afraid. Gilbert became a true friend, not just a visitor. The village did not change quickly. People continued to judge and whisper. But Helen stopped caring about their words. She focused on her child, her work, and her peace. She believed inner strength was more powerful than public opinion. This chapter of her life was about truth and courage. Helen learned that strength does not always mean fighting. Sometimes, it means surviving quietly. Gilbert learned that real respect comes from understanding pain, not spreading stories. Wildfell Hall remained silent and strong, just like Helen. Behind its walls lived a woman who chose dignity over fear. Her journey was not easy, but it was honest. And honesty slowly began to shape a new future. Life at Wildfell Hall slowly began to change after Helen shared part of her past with Gilbert. The house no longer felt as cold or distant as before. There was still silence, but it was softer now. Helen continued her daily routine, caring for her son, painting, and keeping her home simple and orderly. Yet inside her heart, something new had begun to grow. She felt less alone. Gilbert became a regular visitor, though he remained respectful of Helen's space. He never came without reason and never stayed too long. Helen appreciated this. She valued quiet and balance, and Gilbert learned to understand her boundaries. Their conversations became more meaningful. They spoke about courage, forgiveness, and the struggles of life. Helen did not complain about her past, but sometimes her words carried deep emotion. Helen's son noticed the change too. He smiled more when Gilbert visited. He listened carefully to his mother and followed her rules with trust. Helen watched her child closely, always afraid that the world might harm him as it had harmed her. She believed that a mother's duty was to protect, even if it meant standing alone against society. Meanwhile, the village continued its restless talk. Some people were curious, others suspicious. A few began to soften their opinions after seeing Helen's kindness. She helped the sick, spoke gently to the poor, and never replied harshly to insults. Still, many refused to let go of their judgments. They believed a woman living alone must be hiding shame. One evening, a visitor arrived unexpectedly at Wildfell Hall. The sound of footsteps outside made Helen freeze. Fear rushed through her body. Old memories returned, heavy and painful. She sent her son to another room and opened the door slowly. The visitor was from her past, someone she had hoped never to see again. His presence disturbed her peace. Helen remained calm on the outside, but inside she felt weak. The man spoke with false politeness and asked questions that made her uncomfortable. He reminded her of a life she had escaped. Helen answered carefully, protecting her child and her freedom. She made it clear that she would not return to her old life, no matter the pressure. After the visitor left, Helen felt shaken. She locked the door and sat quietly, holding back tears. She realized that her past still had power to reach her. No matter how far she ran, it followed her like a shadow. That night, she could not sleep. Fear and worry filled her thoughts. The next day, Gilbert noticed something was wrong. Helen looked tired and distant. He asked gently if she was well. At first, she said nothing. Then, slowly, she told him about the visit. She did not give many details, but her fear was clear. Gilbert felt anger and concern. He wanted to protect her, but he knew she did not want to be controlled again. Helen explained that her past taught her a painful lesson. She learned that love without respect becomes a prison. She had once believed patience would change cruelty, but it only made it stronger. Leaving was the hardest choice of her life, yet it saved her and her child. Gilbert listened with deep attention. He did not interrupt or judge. He realized that Helen's strength was not loud or dramatic. It was quiet and steady. She had rebuilt her life piece by piece. He admired her courage more than ever. Helen feared that the visitor might return or spread lies about her. She worried about her son's safety. Gilbert offered his support, not as a hero, but as a friend. He told her she was not alone anymore. His words brought her comfort. In the following days, Helen became more cautious. She avoided unnecessary contact with villagers. She focused on teaching her son and keeping her home secure. Yet she did not lose hope. She believed that truth, though slow, always finds its way. Gilbert also changed. He became more thoughtful and protective, but without control. He defended Helen when gossip reached him. He spoke calmly but firmly, challenging false stories. Some people began to question their own judgments. Helen's life was still full of challenges, but she stood firm. She understood that freedom comes with struggle. She accepted that pain does not disappear easily, but it can be faced with dignity. Wildfell Hall was no longer just a hiding place. It was a symbol of survival. This stage of Helen's journey was about facing fear without running away. She had escaped once to save her life. Now, she chose to stand strong. With her child by her side and a true friend nearby, she felt ready to protect the peace she had worked so hard to build.